Shout out to Stephanie Dews for sending me this story. This is an update story to a narrative that I spoke about a couple years ago. Now that it's put out there that it was 2 years ago, and it's crazy how fast time flies. And I remember talking about the story now because I remember this woman's face. But this woman's name was Brandy Odom, and like it says, she was found dismembered in a park 2 years ago. But then the case kind of went cold. Well, 2 years later, they found the couple who was involved with this woman's untimely and undeserved murder. Now, this story is coming from ABC New York, and I'm going to go ahead and read it for you right now. Authorities announced a break in one of NYPD's unsolved cases. A man and a woman were charged Wednesday in connection with the murder of Brandy Odom, aged 26, who was found dismembered in a Carnegie Park back in 2018. Federal authorities say the couple took out a life insurance policy on Odom's life and then conspired to kill her. Her head and naked torso were found face down among the leaves and twigs. Her arms and legs were later discovered several blocks away. Sources also said a bloody saw was recovered from a trash can near the crime scene. Corey Martin and Adele Anderson, who allegedly worked as the victim's pimp and madam, were charged with wire fraud and aggravated identity theft in connection to the death. They were arrested in Trenton, New Jersey. Martin is believed to have killed Odom, while Anderson took out the insurance policy in Odom's name. These charges arise out of a scheme to fraudulently obtain several life insurance policies in the name of Brandy Odom, a 26-year-old woman, murder her, and then claim benefits under the life insurance policies, the prosecutors wrote. I can just imagine what kind of pain she probably could have been going through with such a vicious act, said Nicole Odom, the victim's mother, to Eyewitness News back in 2018. Everybody loved her, said Nicole Odom. I can't even see how one person would want to do this to her. Brandy was friendly with everybody. I just want to know the people that's out here to know. I just want the people that's out here to know that this was somebody's child, and she does have people that loved and cared for her, said Nicole Odom. Nicole Odom said she had last seen her daughter about a month prior to her murder when Brandy had received mail notifying her that she was granted an interview to become a school safety officer. She says she had been living with a roommate in Queens and didn't have any problems. I wonder if that roommate was the woman that was involved with her murder as well as the taking of the insurance policy. But that's crazy. Well, first off, let me just say I'm glad that they were able to find the two monsters that brutally murdered this woman, that were, well, brutally murdered and involved with the murder of her. Secondly, I remember when this story came out and I said it's clearly more to the story, but it's just amazing that they couldn't find anybody who was attached to it, because it's not like they could have attached suicide to this. You know, they love to say that whenever they find someone hanging in a park or just wherever, that is suicide, but there's no way that this woman could have possibly did that. Like, they literally went in on her. Like, that was extreme torture. And 9 times out of 10, they didn't commit the act where they found her pieces of her body. They did it at some other undisclosed location, because they knew if they did it, like, it would have been silly for them to do it out in the open, because she would have been heard being screaming unless they had knocked her out with something, or gave her something to paralyze her, put her in a state where she couldn't feel anything. But I believe that they dismembered her body at some undisclosed location where nobody was around, and then they dumped her body or pieces of her body and just scattered it around in this park. And then they said that they tried to take out, or they did take out, several life insurance policies in her name. So it was one big elaborate scheme. Now, I was going to put up a picture of them, but for some reason I cannot find a picture of them. So that's why they use this one for the thumbnail. But those two that were involved, that Corey and Adele, what their names are, Corey Martin and Adele Anderson. And mind you, that this is Corey Martin is 33 and Adele Anderson is 32. That Adele, she's 1 year older than me, and that Corey is 2 years older than me. It's just crazy, the stuff that goes through people's minds of when they're going to do something like this. And they probably found out that, she probably came into maybe some money, and they found out, and that's what they did. But like I said, people will do anything for money nowadays, or to get money out of people. And listen to what they said. They took out several life insurance policies in her name. Not just one, but several. Several meaning more than 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5. They was prepared to clean out, if they did, clean out everything financial to her name. And you know, they probably got almost pretty far with it, because it took them 2 years to catch them. 2 years. I'll admit, I forgot about this story. You know, when stories go cold, oftentimes people just forget about it. It's unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is. But like I said, I'm glad that they ended up catching them. I hope that they throw the entire library at their ass for what they did. And I'm almost certain they're going to. Like, this is definitely life without parole. And if they're lucky they don't live in a state that has capital punishment. Because I don't think capital punishment is in New York. I could be wrong. But they're lucky that they don't live in a state with capital punishment, because they would definitely qualify for it. I could see them getting the death penalty if they lived in a state that honored it. But I don't think New York does. But y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments.